Hi, my name is Alexandria Bobbitt, and this is about the case of the Chinese disinformation campaign about coronavirus from EG 44175 Ethical Professional Issues in Engineering at the University of Notre Dame. Some basic facts and the stakeholders of this case include the coronavirus itself, meaning the coronavirus was first discovered in China in 2019 and has since been seen as the country to blame for the pandemic, seeing as how it first transpired in there. And then the Chinese government retaliated with the use of social media to spread disinformation, meaning that they saw themselves as not the sole cause and did not want to garner all the blame. So instead, they decided to spread conspiracy theories, garner global sympathy, and excite fear into other countries to shift the blame from them onto others. The form of disinformation is similar to what the Russians have been doing for years now. However, it is slightly different, but the premise is still there, where they try to this while they try to spread disinformation to other people and put their minds off of them. The main stakeholders in this would be the Chinese and Russian governments, seeing how the Chinese are the ones implementing this, and the Russians are the ones that allowed them to come up with this idea in the first place. This is the main graph of the Chinese government officials' Twitter accounts activity. As it is shown in the graph, it has been a significant increase ever since January 2019, and then up until when coronavirus was first discovered around late this 2019, and ever since then the activity has spiked over the years, pertaining to how much of an impact they're having for the spread of disinformation and how much they're using Twitter to do so. Some of them, this case will go through some main issues. One of them is it possible that China is simply using the coronavirus as a means of turning the rest of the world against America? This is shown because China ridiculed the U.S. for not taking proper actions when the coronavirus hit, meaning that they were very active in telling them what they did wrong and how they were not able to contain the virus, how it was spread so quickly, where in fact that China did not even acknowledge the fact that it was there and did not inform their people of it, meaning that they were trying to make sure that the U.S. took the blame and were seen as the people who did it wrong, whereas China was in fact the one who did it worse. On March 12th, 2020, the spokesperson of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs retweeted a video claiming that the U.S. military brought the virus to China. Basically, this was a video explaining that the virus came during the 2019 military games, meaning that while the U.S. was over there, they infected the Chinese citizens while they were there, and that's how the outbreak started. And then in 2021, China encouraged Asian Americans to fight against racial injustice and start protests. While the protests did not occur, it did strike a lot of fear and distrust in America, causing people to shift their attention away from China. This picture is picturing the actual tweets that the minister displayed on March 12th. As you can see, the translation basically says that the U.S. owes us an explanation, meaning that the U.S. military was the one that brought it there, like make the data public, basically, and it shows the clip of the video inside of it. Next issue goes into why is China insisting that the virus did not come from the country. Basically, it's like, do they wish to not take the blame, or is the guilt? Basically, China started this whole thing with gaining worldwide sympathy, meaning that they tried to go to countries on the sympathetic terms where they wanted them to see how much they were suffering, how much they needed help as much as they did, how much everyone is in this together. But then they decided to shift to more of aid and donations combined with slander of countries like America. Basically, what I was saying earlier about America not handling coronavirus properly, America was not the only target. They had targeted other countries as well. And in regards to the aid and donations, the donations were not clearly government official donations, meaning that they might have come from private or Chinese organizations, but were advertised as government aid. And then in regards to the aid itself, most of the aid was faulty, meaning it was unusable anyway. So they were basically making donations on a falsehood. Now, on the picture to the right, it basically is a talk about disinformation is the most serious aspect of it. That is actually a myth because it actually, instead of just going around these conspiracy theories, it's actually more of garnering propaganda. And that leads to the last point where China wants to be seen as a global leader. So basically, if their disinformation is successful, they are able to show themselves as a leader that everyone needs and should garner towards, meaning everyone should rise up and support China, whereas other countries should be left in the dust. And then the next issue goes into final issue goes into is the adoption of Russian misinformation practices and this continuous dislike of Western countries on the topic of coronavirus. China's way of disrupting the peace in the world. This basically goes into the fact that China is trying to assert their dominance through fear and praise. Main examples of this include EU's coronavirus report. It was reported in April of 2020 that the EU submitted a false report regarding the coronavirus report. It was declined in May. However, it was also revealed that the EU was feared China would stop their worldwide aid and support system if they had not did that report as they did. And then with the Taiwan election disruption, they disrupted the election and supported pro-Beijing regimes during the election in order to make the election more in their favor. And then finally, they did a pro-China influence in Africa, seeing as how the social media platform is more going toward China and Russia rather than whether the other Western countries in Africa, they're able to influence them more so. And this goes into the myth on the right, myth 3, where it says like China had a comprehensive or thought out strategy, whereas they really did not. There was no strategy destined for success, where it's more a random assortment about tweets and everything like that. But the thing about it was that they're wolf warrior diplomacy, meaning they're like underground security network, kind of let it out as negative, meaning that they took the tweets and basically exploded them to the point of disaster. My personal conclusion on all this is that China should be more focused on helping their own people rather than worrying about slandering other countries. As mentioned earlier, they did not properly inform their citizens of the coronavirus outbreak, leading to more cases than there could have been. Also, there was a significant gag order, meaning that they were not even allowed to mention the coronavirus in the country, as well, meaning that they really did not want it known to anyone else. And seeing as how China is still in shutdown and people are still not allowed to freely talk about the coronavirus, even the lockdown conditions are horrendous, it shows that something definitely should have been done differently, meaning that the people should have been more involved, people should have been told more, they should have focused more on the people's needs and understood and tried to gain understanding rather than just focusing on how to shift the blame to someone else. These are my sources. Thank you.